If you're considering moving your SQL databases and applications to the cloud or already operate them there today, you should reevaluate your data protection strategy. Simply shifting your on-premise data protection to run in the cloud will add costs and complexity, as you'll be managing at least 2 instances of that platform and will be subject to additional data storage and transfer costs. Cloud-based data protection for your hybrid IT environment removes this complexity, helping to accelerate your move to the cloud and gives your IT team the agility and control it expects. Let's take a look at the Druva console to see how easy it is to protect your Microsoft SQL workloads, whether they're hosted on-premise or in the cloud. The first thing you see here is the Druva dashboard. So you see summary information around the different workloads that you're protecting, backing up to Druva's cloud, whether they're physical servers, Microsoft SQL databases, virtual systems, NAS devices. And you can see here the first full backup protects 2.4 terabytes of data. With some changes, it's nearly 7 terabytes of source data. We've run that source side global deduplication. We've only actually transferred, we're only storing just about 1.23 terabytes worth of data. Not only does this mean that your backups will be faster and more efficient on bandwidth consumption, but ultimately it will reduce cost, as this is the only factor that matters with cost of Druva. It's how much post-dedupe data you're consuming. There's no egress cost for transferring data out. Let's take a look at how we'll connect to different SQL workloads. Now there's 2 ways in which we could connect to a SQL database. Whether it's hosted on-premise in a physical server or a virtual system, or even in AWS or any cloud, we can drop an agent directly on the guest OS, isolate what databases we want to protect, the frequency, the retention rules, and then send just the unique data either directly to the cloud or to local storage through Cloud Cache and then to the cloud. The other method that we can employ with connecting to Microsoft SQL databases is through VMware AppAware. So by taking a snapshot of the VM from vCenter, we can also tie in, do transaction log truncation, and give you granular recovery on a database, full VM, or just file system. Let's run through how we'll connect to SQL. First, we'll choose a workload to protect. Microsoft SQL will download the agent on the appropriate server and put in the token. Once that is done, then you will see the SQL database listed as a SQL resource. And if you click on this and create a SQL backup set, this allows you to assign it to a policy, which is when do you want the backups to run, both fulls, differentials, as well as the ability to transact logs every 5-10 minutes, give you granular recovery options, as well as the ability to choose the retention. So this is done in a grandfather, father-son schema, dailies, weeklies, monthlies, yearlies, and can tier to Glacier for long-term retention as well. Then you're going to select which databases you want to protect and assign to that policy. Once that's done, the backups will run based on that frequency, and you can go into a SQL backup set here and restore either the full database from a snapshot, individual, or a point in time based on the transaction log truncation, or to a transaction mark that the DBA may have created. So it gives you a lot of granularity, both in recovering all of the databases from a point in time or just an individual. Now you can go back to the original database host, or you could go to a different host. So in terms of recovery or migration, you could back up a SQL database on-premise and then restore it to an alternate SQL server operating in the cloud. Choose locations to store those MDF, LDF, NDM files, as well as the recovery mode. A lot of granularity here. Should look fairly similar to what you're used to on-premise. Now, the other way in which we can connect to SQL workloads is through VMware AppAware. So from the snapshot, we're able to go in and restore an individual database. So here you can see Windows SQL, restore. I have the option for both a full VM restore as a full VM or individual files, or I can go in and restore just an individual database. Again, same options, point in time, transaction mark, or full database snapshot. Choose the databases you want to recover, and then you can recover back to the original or alternate VM. Very simple to manage, very simple to configure. Once it's done, you can set it and forget it, have access globally to all of your SQL resources in one pane of glass. Druva simplifies and improves data protection for SQL and hybrid cloud environments with direct-to-cloud backup that eliminates infrastructure management, provides secure and on-demand scale, and lower storage costs. Visit druva.com to schedule an in-person demo or request a free trial.